Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 14. This, of course, means we have 3 weeks left in the semester, so fasten your seat belts. And as we get rolling this week, got a few things coming up, but first let me go to the reading. It's fairly short, and you'll find it on the modules page as usual. And it's in the appendix of Weston's A Rule Book for Arguments. And there it is. And there's a good reason this is in Weston's book, because people often give definitions based on they're emotionally loaded definitions. They played games with the actual meaning of a word, partly to further their argument. For instance, to say a fetus is the same thing as a baby. That's essentially a religious argument and not a scientific one. Literally, they are not the same thing, but many faiths argue they are. So, often people need to define terms or they're at a huge disadvantage in an argument. And there's a great anecdote here about just an everyday problem with a design review commission and historic districts commission in that city. And a bit here about, there it is, loaded definition. People will do this in all kinds of arguments. Now, it comes in handy in comedy, but what happens is, to work in comedy, because of that sensus communis factor, it has to be a definition that everybody agrees on. So, for instance, organic might be one that gets more general agreement. So give that a read. It's a very short piece of reading. It's not really a chapter. It's in the back of the book in the appendix. And it gives you some ideas for developing counter arguments or anything else where what you're seeing is based on a clever twisting of a definition of a word. Remember, definition is usually not an argument. That's the same thing, seldom, almost never. It's better to say a definition is not an argument, it's a tool of argument. And let's go a little further. And what else we've got going this week? We've got some big doings, basically. Let me take you through them. Monday, top of the week, depending on whether you start weeks on Sunday or Monday, the proposal is due, 2 paragraphs, 70 points for your extended argument number 3. And this is where you propose your choice of option and what you're going to do with it. Essentially, spotting the arguments, explain why it's funny using Critchley, and not just the theories of humor, but based on at least one other chapter, and also how it's structured like an argument. So you'll see that in the actual extended argument 2 assignment further down this assignments page. But here on the proposal assignment, those are key bits you need to be aware of. And just type it right here on Canvas. Since it's only 2 paragraphs, it will be something you can just get going right away, and it should be quick as long as you're ready, as long as you've taken a look first at the actual assignment. Remember, you have two options: a movie or TV show, and again, you're going to use both Critchley to explain why something is funny, why it's getting a laugh, and Weston to explain how it's structured like an argument, and how it might be also using a logical fallacy for a punchline. Or your option two, using a stand-up comedian. Now, this other stuff on the to-do list for this assignment, you'll want to read through carefully, but that's what the proposal covers, basically, these. Speaking of the assignment itself, and this thing is not due for a couple of more weeks. It's due on May 20th. As you can see, keep in mind there is an extra credit option. It's this time a kind of discussion, because students who've got a little more experience under their belt with this type of writing and argumentative analysis often are pretty good critical readers, and they can offer advice to their classmates. But very importantly, they also learn a lot by seeing how their classmates have handled an assignment. So there it gets mentioned on the, it slid right in there. And let me show you where to find it, because it's not here on the assignments page since it's extra credit. So jump on down to the discussions page, and of course you'll see our regular discussion that you saw on the assignments page right there. But here is the extended argument essay Q&A. Now, you don't have to jump into it this week. I'd be pretty surprised if you had enough writing underway to be able to do that, but it's coming up next week, Wednesday. So once you get this bit right here done, the proposal for the extended argument number 3, once you've done that, use that as a jumping off point to get this about 2/3 to 3/4 done. So by Wednesday of next week, you can jump on into the extra credit opportunity right there. Because you will need the first 900 words of your essay for Wednesday of next week. Okay? And more on this next week. And of course, you see the usual discussion and reading questions for the week. Have a great week. And I hope you get underway with this assignment. And it should be a lot of fun, since you get to pick one of those two options for your proposal due Monday night. Have a great week.